The mountain had begun to breathe again. Deep beneath Kunwu's ancient stone, something long buried stirred in chains of light and flame. Above, cultivators battled for a treasure that could shake the heavens, unaware that each strike against the grand formation echoed in the prison of a far greater terror. Fate sealed for 10,000 years was beginning to crack. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. With her face still pale from lingering fear, Bai Yaoyi spoke slowly, each word weighed down by the memory of danger. I was gravely injured. To drive back my enemies, I had no choice but to release the profound glacial qi that I had painstakingly nurtured within my flying sword for many long years. At the time, everyone was consumed by the desire to descend to the lower floors as quickly as possible. Amid that chaos, I survived by nothing more than sheer luck. Oh, from your tone you do not seem to know your attackers well. They were among the cultivators who arrived before us. I had been locked in a stalemate with one of them when another struck from the shadows, forcing me to seal myself within ice. Ordinarily, that ice would have endured for a very long time unless a late nascent soul cultivator personally resolved to shatter it. But with my injuries so severe, I could not break free on my own and had to trouble fellow Taoist Han to rescue me. Had I remained sealed much longer? She paused, a faint shudder running through her. I dare not imagine the consequences. Speaking of which, Brother Han's strength is truly formidable to dispel that glacial qi in so short a time. Hanli gave a faint smile. It required little effort. But could fellow Taoist Bai enlighten me as to what transpired here? After fellow Taoist Fu and I parted from you, we explored a hidden pavilion and gained quite a few treasures. We had intended to withdraw, but then a sudden upheaval shook the heavens above the devil-suppressing pagoda. The omen clearly heralded the birth of a supreme treasure. Greed overcame caution, and we joined the scramble. Along the way, we encountered many cultivators, rushing in the same direction, the elders of the yin-sifting sect, those who had broken the seal wandering cultivators, and even the silver-winged night fiend we met before. To be honest, the moment we saw so many formidable figures gathered together, regret filled our hearts and we thought to retreat. But the instant they saw us, they attacked. We had no choice but to fight. From the very beginning, I was pursued relentlessly and eventually fled here. Fellow Taoist Fu disappeared along the way. It seemed he found an opportunity to escape. As she recounted the events, her gaze drifted uneasy and guarded toward the horned woman at Han Li's side. The demonic qi emanating from her body was dense and terrifying, like a storm cloud poised to swallow the sky. Sensing her apprehension, Han Li chuckled softly. There is no need for alarm, fellow Taoist Bai. Fellow Taoist Gui Ling has agreed to join forces with me. Otherwise, I would not have dared to come. Gai Ling's lips curved into a faint, inscrutable smile. Though Bai Yaoyi found the situation far too simple to be entirely convincing, she nonetheless felt a measure of relief. So that is how it is. I have always said Brother Han's abilities and insight far surpass our own. Her expression soon turned solemn. However, I must tell you, I saw the remains of fellow Taoist Fu. His body lay near the entrance. Is that so? A flicker of astonishment crossed Bai Yaoyi's face. I personally handled his corpse. There were no signs that his nascent soul escaped. As Han Li spoke, the image of the crimson saber flashed through his mind, and a cold gleam surfaced in his eyes. Speaking of which, did you sense anyone passing by while you were sealed in the ice? No. Bai Yaoyi hesitated, surprise surfacing in her eyes. Could it be that others have entered? Nothing of the sort. Han Li lowered his gaze thoughtfully toward the entrance leading downward. Your vitality is severely depleted. What do you intend to do now? What choice do I have? She replied with a faint self-mocking smile. No matter how extraordinary the treasure below pursuing it, now would be courting death. I plan to leave as soon as the seal stabilizes. That is wise. Han Li nodded calmly. Then we shall part ways here, fellow Taoist Bai. I still retain some interest in the treasure. She chuckled lightly. Since Brother Han is confident, I will not attempt to dissuade you. Take care. And you as well. Han Li cupped his fist in farewell. In the next instant, his figure blurred, streaking toward the entrance of the lower floor. Guiling followed silently behind him. Watching their departing figures, Bai Yaoyi let out a soft sigh. From her storage pouch, she summoned a fire-red pill and swallowed it without hesitation. After traveling some 60 meters, Han Li suddenly paused as though struck by an afterthought. He turned back. Fellow Taoist Bai, I have long heard of the North Night Palace's illustrious reputation. Might I pay it a visit in the future? Caught off guard, Bai Yaoyi blinked, then offered a sweet, composed smile. You jest, fellow Taoist. Our palace would be honored to receive you. Your words set my mind at ease. With a faint smile, Han Li turned and departed without further delay. Only after his figure vanished from sight did Bai Yaoyi's smile slowly fade, replaced by a pensive frown. Though she had answered readily enough, she could not fathom why he would suddenly bring up the North Night Palace. The 7th floor, where the Elder Devil and the others had once battled the ghost fiends, now lay utterly silent, devoid of a single soul. Han Li and Guiling descended without obstruction into a small chamber containing 2 teleportation formations, one white, one black. Han Li's gaze lingered on them as he stroked his chin in contemplation. Within his mind, he asked Silvermoon, "Do you sense anything unusual? Both formations appear short-ranged and should lead to the next floor. Does either call to you?" "How strange," Silvermoon replied slowly. "I sense something intimately familiar from both formations, but the feeling from the white one is far stronger." After a moment of quiet thought, Han Li said calmly, "Then we shall take the white formation. I faintly sense a trace of devil chi from the black one. It unsettles me." Without further words, he stepped into the white formation. Guiling followed. A spell seal struck the edge of the formation. Brilliant white light surged up around them and they vanished. The moment they appeared on the 8th floor, Han Li summoned the Tailstar Essence shield before him, while crimson armor shimmered into existence around Guiling's body. They did not know where the formation would deposit them, nor whether enemies lay in wait. With their experience, carelessness was unthinkable. Yet instead of an ambush, distant thunderous explosions greeted them. As the dizziness of teleportation faded, Han Li lifted his gaze and his heart jolted. The land before him was in utter ruin. High above flying swords and arcane treasures whirled and clashed in chaotic brilliance. Han Li swept his gaze across the sky and spotted over a dozen figures: the silver-winged night fiend, the lion hawk, Grand Immortal Shu, the endless sky, Saintess Lin Yin Ping, the 2 immortal form sect elders, and several unfamiliar cultivators he surmised were from the Ye clan. Yet Gei Tianhao and the remaining yin-sifting sect elder were nowhere to be seen. Curiously, the cultivators were not attacking one another. Instead, they were scattered around a grand palace at the center of the area. Encircling the palace was an immense spell formation. Dozens of altars stood around it, each enshrining a 10-meter-tall white jade statue clad in gleaming armor and gripping a massive golden blade. The statues had come alive. In concert with the Great Formation's restrictions, they faced the assembled high-grade cultivators, unleashing 10-meter-long arcs of swordlight in response to each assault. Yet the cultivators' attention was divided. Between attacks, many cast furtive glances toward the palace itself. Floating over 30 meters above it was a half-foot-long emerald wooden ruler radiating a faint verdant glow. Its appearance was unremarkable, almost plain. And yet, whenever it flipped gently through the air, countless lotus blossoms bloomed around it, drifting in serene splendor. Amid the petals, the phantasmal images of 8 ancient spirit beasts materialized, roaring reverently toward the ruler: a horned lion dragon, golden-scaled flood dragon, 8-corned deer. Han Li's breath caught as he named them one by one. These were spirit beasts of legendary renown in ancient times. The 8-spirit ruler, Guiling muttered in shock. I never imagined the 3 Kunwu elders would leave such a treasure behind. The 8-spirit ruler, Han Li echoed softly. Silvermoon's voice drifted into his mind. It is a divine spirit treasure. Though seldom used in ancient times, and thus little known, its might is unquestionable. Han Li's brow furrowed as he detected a strange note in her tone. Are you unwell? I am uncertain. At first I did not recognize it, yet suddenly detailed knowledge surfaced within my mind. It feels as though something summoned me here. No, not the ruler. Someone close to me is calling. No, that is not right either. My other half is here. Han Li's expression darkened. He was about to question her further, but at that very moment, the cultivators in the sky noticed his arrival. One after another they turned toward him, their gazes sharp with suspicion and hostility. Startled, Han Li set aside his doubts regarding Silvermoon. A glint flashed through his eyes as he stepped out of the teleportation formation and rose into the sky. Grand Immortal Shu let out a cold laugh. With a casual flick of his sleeve, a streak of silver light shot forth, cleaving through one of the jade statues and reducing it to fragments. I truly did not expect fellow Taoist Han to dare follow us here, he said icily. Impressive. Yet scarcely had the statue shattered when the altar beneath it flared with blinding white radiance. In the span of a breath, the broken fragments reassembled, restored as if untouched. The statue resumed its stance, golden blade sweeping through the air as arcs of radiant light howled outward once more. Han Li's expression remained tranquil. Why wouldn't I dare? He replied evenly. A divine spirit treasure stands before us, and you still speak of making enemies. At his words, hostility ignited across Lin Yinping's face. She was just about to retort when a low, chilling voice interrupted. Do not forget the silver-winged night fiend said darkly, his wings faintly shimmering. We have unfinished business as well. Treasure or not, I would not mind settling our debts first. Beside him, the lion hawk released a guttural snarl, its killing intent undisguised. Oh, Han Li smiled faintly as though the threat amused him. Guiling sighed and stepped forward, standing shoulder to shoulder with him. The night fiend's eyes narrowed the instant he saw her. Fellow Taoist guy, what is the meaning of this? Why are you standing with that human? A sharp, ominous light flickered in Guiling's eyes. Do you truly not know, she snapped, or are you merely pretending ignorance? After you used me, you seized only your own life-soul tiles and abandoned mine to his hands. If I wish to live, I have no choice but to obey him. Her words struck like thunder. A ripple of astonishment passed through the gathered cultivators. The night fiend's expression stiffened, a trace of embarrassment surfacing before he suppressed it. Even the lion hawk awkwardly fell silent. Their friendship stretched back many years. If there had been a way, they would indeed have retrieved her life-soul tile. But the circumstances then had been chaotic and perilous. They had secured their own tiles by mere fortune and had no means to seize Guiling's. Worse still, Han Li had acted with uncanny cunning, grabbing the tile and several treasures before slipping away cleanly, while the rest had been pinned down by the terrifying might of the Four Skies ruler. The night fiend's face hardened once more. Fellow Taoist Gaoi, do not worry, he said coldly. I will help you reclaim it. Guiling's eyes flashed. There is no point in such words now. I have already walked this path. If you obstruct us, do not blame me for showing no mercy. The demon gave a dry chuckle, but said nothing further, though his gaze remained fixed on Han Li with undisguised hostility. Han Li ignored him completely, already calculating his next move. If the night fiend truly sought conflict, he would simply have Guiling engage him. That would suffice. At that moment, Lady Mu let out a soft, lilting laugh. Fellow Taoist Han, she said sweetly, how did your battle with old Devil Chen conclude? Since he has yet to appear, could it be that he perished at your hands? Her words rippled through the air like a hidden blade. Every cultivator present stiffened in shock. Han Li arched a brow and turned his gaze toward her and the beautiful young woman at her side. So it was you who observed our battle from afar, he said calmly. I have yet to learn your esteemed name. Lady Mu's figure was alluring, though her features were only modestly beautiful. As she spoke, her tone was flirtatious, but beneath her eyes lay a chill sharp enough to cut. "We are of the immortal form sect of Nanjiang," she replied. "One might say we are half the masters of this place." Brother Han's face is unfamiliar. "Could it be you are not from the Great Jin?" "My origins are irrelevant to the matter at hand," Han Li said flatly. "As for old devil Qian, we merely exchanged a few blows before parting ways." "Has he still not arrived? Then it seems I am early." His expression did not change in the slightest. At his side, Guiling rolled her eyes but remained silent. Lady Mu did not quite believe him, but neither could she easily accept that Han Li had slain a figure of such renown. In the end, she merely smiled thinly and said no more. The cultivators of the Ye clan now regarded Han Li with new weight in their eyes. They exchanged glances before quietly withdrawing and temporarily ceasing their assault on the stone statues. The white-robed late nascent soul scholar blinked, then sent a voice transmission to Han Li. "Fellow Taoist, it seems there are grudges between you and them. I am the Grand Elder of the Ye clan, the true authority behind the Great Jin's imperial family. Would you consider joining forces with us? We seek only the eight-spirit ruler. All other treasures within the palace shall be yours. What do you say?" Han Li was momentarily taken aback, but his face remained impassive. Seeing no immediate reply, the scholar continued persuasively, "Do not mistake us for greedy. Even if you were to seize that treasure alone, you would not survive long with it." Han Li frowned slightly before responding through voice transmission. "The Ye clan is the foremost noble house of the Great Jin. Why require the aid of an outsider? When you entered this place, were there not two great cultivators? Where is the other?" As he spoke, his gaze swept discreetly across the unfamiliar faces in the sky. He felt some relief that the elder devil was not among them, yet a faint unease still lingered. The scholar's heart trembled faintly, but he forced a chuckle. "I did not expect Brother Han to know of him. To speak honestly, he should be somewhere within this pagoda. Though we have not made contact, I am certain he will aid us when necessary. Perhaps he has already entered the palace." Han Li paused, then replied evenly, "If there proves to be nothing else in the palace, I would merely earn the enmity of these people for nothing." Seeing Han Li wavering, the Ye clan Grand Elder hurriedly pressed on. "That is easily resolved. We have already scoured other parts of Kunwu Mountain and obtained many powerful treasures. If you gain nothing from the palace, I will personally grant them all to you. If you fear retaliation in the future, you may become a guest elder of our clan, or if you prefer, we will offer 1,000,000 spirit stones." With the large-headed eccentric and several others missing, the scholar felt the situation slipping beyond his control. He spared no effort in attempting to secure Han Li's support. After a moment's contemplation, Han Li chuckled softly. "Very well. I will accept the 1,000,000 spirit stones. At worst, I can simply leave the Great Jin." "Excellent," the scholar replied, unable to hide his delight. "Then it is settled. Fellow Taoist may act as he sees fit." Silvermoon, bound to his soul through his magic treasure, heard every word of the exchange. "You truly intend to hand the eight-spirit ruler over to them?" she asked skeptically. "Of course not," Han Li replied leisurely. "The Ye clan knows its own weakness, and I require their strength for now. With nothing but an oral agreement, neither side is bound to honor their words." Silvermoon sighed in quiet agreement. "When the formation falls, she said you must be prepared to seize the ruler and flee with all your might." Han Li smiled faintly and did not respond. At that moment, the scholar infused his voice with magic power and called out loudly, "Everyone! Now that fellow Taoist Han has arrived, our chances of breaking this ancient formation have greatly increased. Shall we include him in our previous arrangement?" Grand Immortal Shu snorted coldly. "We are sufficient. We have no need of him. We should capture him instead." The scholar's expression darkened. "You jest, Brother Shu. You may attempt it if you wish. But do you truly believe you have the leisure to do so?" Lady Mu brushed a lock of hair aside and spoke coolly. "The High Zenith sect's Master Sable and the Heavenly Devil sect's Taoist Seven Wonders are already on their way from outside. At most, we have a single day. When the greatest sects of both the Devil and Righteous Tao arrive, Do you imagine this treasure will fall into any of our hands? Aside from the three demons, every cultivator present felt their hearts jolt at those names. The Ye Clan Grand Elder's face instantly drained of color. Grand Immortal Shu and Lin Yinping exchanged a glance. All prior hostility vanished. Though the Endless Skies Temple maintained amicable ties with the Heavenly Devil sect, such relations would not entitle them to a fair share of Kunwu Mountain's supreme treasures. After a long silence, Grand Immortal Chu spoke through clenched teeth. Fine, let him assist in breaking the restriction. Once the formation is destroyed, the divine spirit treasure shall belong to whoever can seize it. None objected, though each harbored their own schemes. Han Li's lips curved faintly. With a shake of his sleeve, more than a dozen golden flying swords burst forth, streaking toward the statues below in blazing arcs of light. The others, unwilling to waste another moment, resumed their assault. Below the jade-armored statues roared back to life once more. Golden sabers swept upward, and the heavens were instantly filled with blinding arcs of swordlight and thunderous explosions that shook the air itself, while the others continued their relentless assault upon the grand formation encircling the palace. The two immortal form sect elders quietly exchanged voice transmissions. The younger woman's tone carried unmistakable anxiety. Senior Martial Sister, must we truly assist them in breaking this formation? Elder Xiang clearly said that the palace is connected to the seal of the Elder Devil ancestor. And how could the Eight-Spirit ruler possibly appear here? Lady Mu's expression did not change, though her eyes flickered faintly. Calm yourself, Junior Martial Sister, she replied swiftly. This is not the actual site of the Devil's seal. If it were, the Dragon Cool Crest would have reacted long ago. As for why we must break this formation, it is not solely for the ruler. Her gaze shifted toward the towering palace in the distance. The 9th floor of the Devil-suppressing pagoda houses the core of the entire sealing formation. The seal has weakened. We must reach it and reinforce it. Yet there is no visible passage downward. The only possible route lies within that palace. She paused, then added coolly, I should have explained earlier. The younger woman exhaled softly in relief. So that is the reason. I was wondering why you insisted on bringing me here. But as for the ruler, the Eight-Spirit ruler, Lady Mu, interrupted, a subtle gleam in her eyes, was left behind by the ancestors of our sect. It is only fitting that we reclaim it. That may be so, the beautiful woman said hesitantly, casting a wary glance at the gathered cultivators and demons. But I fear it will be difficult to contend for it. Perhaps. Lady Mu's lips curved faintly. But do not forget you possess the Four Skies ruler, a replica forged in imitation of that very divine spirit treasure. When the struggle begins, activate it. Observe whether it resonates with the original. Her eyes darkened with calculation. And even if it proves ineffective, Elder Xiang may arrive at any moment. These people would not dare refuse him. He shares deep ties with our sect. If we entreat him properly, he will certainly grant us some benefit, even if he does not hand over the Eight-Spirit ruler itself. The younger woman slowly nodded. That is reassuring. But what of the black formation in the chamber we passed through earlier? Could that be the site of the Elder Devil's seal? It is unfortunate it had already lost its effect. Otherwise, we might have examined it first. It is possible, Lady Mu admitted. Our sect's records do not specify the exact location of the seal. As the two continued their secret discussion in a concealed space not far away, the Elder Devil sacred ancestor was struggling against the shackles that had imprisoned it for countless years. A black mirror, a jade lotus, a dark ring, an authority token, a small black bottle. 5 devilish artifacts hovered above the enormous two-headed wolf, each releasing a pillar of black light that poured down into its body. A layer of eerie, writhing, devilish radiance spread across its fur, forcing the talismans and chains binding it to lift nearly a foot from its hide. In response, the restraints shimmered and activated their prohibitions. Most striking of all were the yellow mirrors encircling the space. They began to hum in unison, their beams intensifying swelling to several times their original thickness. The four-armed, two-headed elder devil floated in mid-air, hands weaving spell seals into the five artifacts. Both faces were grave as they stared at the silver wolf suspended beneath them. Below, the black teleportation formation was shrouded in grey light. Its surface distorted, temporarily disrupted to prevent intrusion. The wolf's black head had taken on a fully devilish aspect. Its horn had grown several times larger, crackling with arcs of black lightning that rumbled like distant thunder. Purple devil flames burned within its eyes, and wherever its gaze fell, talismans began to char and crumble into ash. After absorbing vast quantities of devilish chi from the five artifacts, the sacred ancestor's soul fragment had finally accumulated enough power to challenge its bonds. Time dragged on. At last, the wolf head incinerated the remaining talismans and unleashed a series of earth-shaking howls. Black radiance surged across its body as it expanded wildly, as though transforming into a god capable of rending heaven and earth. The lattice of yellow light beams suppressed it for only a brief moment, and then shattered. The wolf's tyrannical growth overwhelmed the formation. One by one, the mirrors exploded into specks of starlight. Yet the heavenly star chains, those seemingly unremarkable restraints, suddenly flared with blinding brilliance. They expanded, tightening without hesitation around the massive wolf. White flames ignited along their length. The stench of scorched flesh filled the air. The holy white inferno burned straight through fur and flesh, ignoring the devilish radiance entirely. The wolf head twisted in agony. For the first time, fear flickered across its demonic face. Pure yang bone fire, it muttered through clenched teeth. So those cultivators were capable of fusing such a flame into the chains. Troublesome indeed. Suddenly, the black wolf head threw back its neck and unleashed a deafening howl. Black lightning surged from its horn, gathering into a sphere before exploding into countless bolts that rained down upon the chains. In an instant, white flame and black lightning collided violently, writhing like twin serpents coiled around iron. Strange, muffled detonations echoed throughout the hidden space. Yet the wolf was not finished. Purple fire flared from its eyes. It murmured an incantation and opened its maw once more, spewing forth a tide of inky mist that spread outward in all directions, engulfing the space in suffocating darkness. Thunderous crashes resounded as distant restrictions were wiped away in succession. A surge of savage delight flickered through the elder devil's expression. Though imprisoned for untold ages, the soul fragment of the sacred ancestor had not diminished in power. Outside Kunwu Mountain, at the unstable breach in the seal, several hundred cultivators remained gathered, less than half the number that had assembled earlier. At the forefront sat Master Sable, cross-legged at the mouth of the opening, his expression solemn. The reason was simple. More than a dozen nascent soul cultivators stood at the head of the crowd. Were it not for the High Zenith sect's immense reputation and his own formidable cultivation, he suspected they would have already forced their way inside. Even so, he knew he could not block them for long. Many of those present belonged to powerful sects. Even the High Zenith sect did not wish to provoke them lightly. At last, a red-faced, mid-nascent soul old man stepped forward from the crowd. "Master Sable," he said impatiently, "what exactly are you planning? I did not come here to waste my time." Master Sable slowly opened his eyes from meditation and sighed faintly. "Fellow Taoist Luo, I have already explained. The passage is unstable. I block you not to hinder you, but to prevent you from throwing your lives away." Old man Luo snorted irritably. "Then why have I heard that members of the yin-sifting sect and the immortal form sect have already entered?" "Lady Mew possessed the sun-moon shuttle, master," Sable replied evenly. "Brother Shu had the keen-spirit peacock. With such treasures, they could brave the danger. If fellow Taoist Luo also holds one of the three great spirit shuttles, I shall not stop you. Otherwise, wait a few days. The passage will stabilize." "A few days," another voice rang out sharply. "By then, the treasures will already be gone." A silhouette cloaked in green light emerged from the crowd and drifted forward. "So it is, fellow Taoist you of Jadewisp Horizon Master Sable, said, his brow tightening slightly. Though not from a major sect, Yu's mastery of poison arts was notorious throughout Great Jin. Even Master Sable preferred not to provoke such a figure. In truth, he did not care if these people perished in the unstable breach. Their lives were of no consequence to him. But before arriving, he had received a confidential report the Ye clan was responsible for the rupture in the seal. Just as he had begun pondering their intentions, an urgent command arrived from his sect. He was to enter only alongside Taoist Seven Wonders of the Heavenly Devil sect and prevent all others from doing so. The one who issued that order was an existence within the High Zenith sect, whom even Master Sable did not dare disobey. Otherwise, why would he entangle himself in such a thankless and troublesome affair? The command required 2 late nascent soul cultivators. That alone proved the matter was far from simple. Soon after he began guarding the breach, a jade slip arrived detailing what lay within Kunwu Mountain. Upon reading it, Master Sable had felt his heart turn cold. He even regretted allowing Old Devil Chen and the others to enter ahead of him. But now that events had progressed this far, he dared not allow any more cultivators inside. If this entire crowd entered and stirred chaos, if the sealed entity were truly released, then no force in the mortal world would be capable of opposing it. And beyond that, there were divine spirit treasures within. Treasures that absolutely could not be permitted to fall into the wrong hands.